Boingo, 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 boingo. Hi, y'all.
As you can probably tell by the two Glencairns, this is not a bourbon tonight.
It's not a bourbon, it's not a rye. So there's two here. Evening.
Or Canadian whiskey.
Or there's some Canadian.
Nope.
No, you don't like. You like a couple of Canadian rye.
Maybe enough
like
to take a sip, not enough to have.
Okay. Anyway, what we're anticipating enjoying tonight is McConnell's Irish Whisky, distilled and bottled for J&J McConnell in Belfast, Ireland, aged 5 years. According to more propaganda here on the label, it's got this groovy little metal embossment thing here. Oldest whiskey brand in Northern Ireland. More propaganda here. Restoring the legend, a revival. This legendary Irish whiskey, founded in 1776, is now restored to barrooms and saloons from Belfast to Boston. Well, there are a bunch of Irish in Boston, aren't there?
Think?
The Harp of Erin, that's the harp there, and it's kind of in the label, top thing here. We are proud to have recovered this much-loved symbol of Old Ireland to mark our harmonious whiskey. And the brothers, happily, the business that John and James McConnell built up years ago is now once more in excellent spirits. Okay, well, I get this open.
I'm having difficulties, so just keep talking.
Just keep talking. First of all, it's a nice kind of hay blonde color to it. It is 42% ABV by volume, or AB by volume, whatever. This fine blend of Irish malt and Irish grain whiskey, gently rested in select bourbon casks.
This is the 5-year-old.
This is the 5-1.
5-year-old green label. Because there's a 5-year-old sherry cask and a 5-year-old cognac cask.
Is it green? Okay. These casks have been used by only the best distilleries and then hand-selected and shipped to Ireland. These add great depth and character to our whiskey, no E, and bring out beautiful overtones of vanilla sweetness and the quality of the Irish in the background, Salante.
Is that how you say it?
That's how I say it.
Okay. So the alcohol professor, this is a new one on me, says when launching a new booze brand, it helps to have a good angle. McConnell's Irish Whisky, which surfaced or resurfaced in 2020, ticks the legendary lost brand back from the dead box.
Is that enough for you?
Maybe.
You can always have more.
The Belfast-based brand's history is said to date all the way back to 1776, which would make it Ireland's oldest whiskey brand. They put out E in there. The information I've seen is a little confusing, but I believe...
The professor put any in there?
Yes, but I believe the Cromac distillery where it was originally made closed in 1930, and then the brand itself folded in 1958. Now, a mere 6 decades and change later, here it comes again, complete with a label that's a close replica of the original, right down to the spelling of whiskey. Irish brands nowadays typically spell it with the E. That's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a little confused. I went, what?
What?
Construction of the brand's new distillery in Belfast, on the site of a notorious jail, no less, isn't finished at the time of this writing, which is in 2021, so I'm sure it's finished now. So the whiskey in the bottle is sourced, in this case, from the Great Northern Distillery, which blended malt and grain whiskeys and aged them at least 5 years. Does it taste like the original? The only vintage McConnell's bottle I could find online was auctioned in 2014, and bidding started at £10,000.
Wow.
So it's unlikely that many people know firsthand. It's a solid, inexpensive, and extremely enjoyable Irish whiskey. It retails for about $33.
Okay.
That comes in a nice-looking bottle, which it does. It's something you can drink regularly with much enjoyment and without too much thought. There's some tasting notes here. He says, or I'm sure, the person writing this says, I'm one of those high-proof snobs when it comes to making cocktails.
Okay.
I feel like most lower-proof spirits can get overwhelmed by the ingredients with which they're mixed.
Okay.
But even at 42% ABV, McConnell's is a nice mixer for spirit-forward drinks, like an old-fashioned or the Tipperary. One of those cocktails the brand made up. A Tipperary has McConnell's Irish Whisky, sweet vermouth, green chartreuse, chilled water, candy cane sugar syrup, and dash of bitters.
That's a lot going on.
It does.
Now, I had never thought about making an old-fashioned.
Well, I think you
With
should try.
Irish
You
whiskey.
have some reasonably priced ones.
Yeah.
So the Whiskey Wash just has, says it's a brand that was recently revived. And it only has some tasting notes. It says it's a blend of Irish malt and Irish grain whiskey. 84 proof, which is 42
Okay.
ABV, 42%.
The first nose I had on this, I thought about a warm, soft, chewy, salty pretzel
Ooh.
with some sort of icing drizzle
Oh.
for the sweet aspect to it, but the fresh baked, not a bread, a pretzel or something like that, salted.
Let's
But I
see
can't
what
get back to that.
McConnell says light citrus note, peppered spice, and vanilla undertones.
That'd be the sweetness, the icing, yeah.
And the Whiskey Wash says on the nose are flavors of orchard fruit, spice, honey, vanilla, and butterscotch. With a hint of white chocolate. That might have been the drizzle.
Might have been the
maybe?
drizzle, but the later nose I got on it, I got pear.
I'm getting a lot of burning my nose hairs.
Wow.
There's a little scent that I can't place.
Yeah.
It's not unpleasant. It's kind of green, but like a little vegetal in there, but
I like the nose.
I don't dislike it.
I think it's
Apple, maybe?
maybe a hard apple, not a soft like a Red Delicious or anything like that. Maybe an Envy.
I'm thinking apple.
I got fruit and candy.
I got apple. Maybe it's like a candy-covered apple.
Yeah, I got
With
fruit
a little
and candy.
splash of caramel or vanilla in there to warm it up.
Let's warm this up.
I like the nose the more I sniff it.
The taste is not a big punch of any kind.
Well, I had said vegetal or green or herbal.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a boring first sip.
Yeah, I was because there's no punch. There's, but it stays
It
on.
got a bronze in the 2022 International Wine and Spirit Competition,
And the rest in the Olympics, it's called also ran.
and a gold in the 2022 New York World Wine and Spirits Competition.
Huh. I'm gonna try another taste.
Yeah.
It's a nice flavor.
It's better on the second
Yeah,
taste.
it's got a nice mouthfeel.
So the
There's no burn anywhere.
The Whiskey Wash says palate offers notes of pepper, spice, butterscotch, candy, green apple, and soft notes of fresh dried grains.
Yeah, green apple. Yeah,
I got the green apple.
and maybe a little bit of the butterscotch. Got wonderful legs. I mean, it's just like a crayon or a candle wax running down the side. There, so
Alcohol
it's clean.
Professor says notes of apple, vanilla, malt, a bit of oak, a hint of chocolate.
Ooh.
Some might call it smooth.
Yeah, smooth.
I've paired it with spaghetti, bolognese, burgers, and dim sum, and it goes perfectly well with all of them.
This would be a good everyday sipper. You wouldn't mind pouring this into
No.
a cup of coffee to make an Irish coffee.
No, you would not.
It
It might not even be punchy enough for Irish coffee. It's pretty smooth.
Yeah,
So I like the Jameson's
I like the Jameson's cold brew for making
and
Irish
you like
coffee.
the orange one for Irish coffee.
Yeah, even that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know that I would drink the orange any other way.
I would probably drink it a little bit, maybe even put one ice cube in it.
This is a nice whiskey, and if the price is 30 to 35 somewhere, and you are someone who likes Irish whiskeys by default, I would say, buy it and have it as your everyday sipper. You're not going to feel bad for having a little extra tipple, like the way you might if you're jumping into your Redbreast or any of the spots that are at higher price points. This is a perfectly.
It might even be an intro level.
Yeah, good point.
Level.
Good point for someone who's not familiar.
Because it's not a big punch you in the face,
right,
or grab your tonsils one. It's quite smooth and enjoyable.
Yeah, it is very much so. Yeah.
Anybody going to Belfast, they do. I'm just looking at their website. They do distillery tours, and then they have a big old tasting room. It looks like.
Anybody going to Belfast that we know?
I'm sure people are always going to Ireland. The signature tour is £25. The connoisseur tour is £49, and the cocktail master class is £45.
Yeah, I may pass on that.
Well, I mean, if the cocktail master class offered where we're gonna, that would be, if there was one here, just to sort of give you an idea of how to concoct things that you might not think of.
True. This is a good whiskey. I mean, that's it. It's not an exceptional whiskey. It's not an extraordinary whiskey. It's good
not a bad whiskey.
It's not
a bad one. It's not bourbon.
Well,
I think it's perfectly enjoyable.
I think it's perfectly enjoyable.
I don't think I would use it in a cocktail because it just.
It's so like this smooth one person and easy said, to sip.
I'm not a high proof snob by any chance.
Right.
By any stretch of the imagination, because I don't like the high proof stuff. But it's just, I think, too smooth and light to hold up to when you start making cocktails with bitters and vermouth and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It would just be gratuitous, I think, to add this just to have more alcohol in it, because I don't think you could taste it.
Yeah.
You might as well just have vermouth and bitters.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And, Marianito with bitters.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
We should try that.
Anyway, McConnell's Irish Whiskey.
Buy or ban?
Buy. For value, drinkability. Yeah. I would make this a buy for
Is
sure.
it difficult to find?
Frankly, I don't remember where I got it. I think it might have been one of those one-offs that were picked up at the CGX.
Too bad we didn't know to look for it today when we were there.
I hadn't made the choice there. No, but it's
to see if they had any more of their products, because they do have a sherry cask
in the bourbon cask
and something else.
Okay.
This is the bourbon cask,
right.
So I'm surprised.
That's why I gestured towards it.
I am surprised.
It does, you know what? Even though it is a bourbon cask, I don't really get any of the sweetness that I would expect on some of the other things that have been in bourbon casks. So
see, they have the 5-year-old. 5-year-old seems to be their jam.
Their point.
5-year-old sherry cask, 5-year-old cognac cask, and the old Cromac collection. It says 20 years, so if they've only been open since 2020, they brought something in from the other distilleries.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
that might be good.
Okay. Well, anyway, thanks for tuning in, y'all. Again, McConnell's Irish Whiskey from distilled and bottled for J&J McConnell in Belfast, Ireland, for the win. It's a good one.
Belfast, Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland, I'm sorry, yes. There we go. So, anyway, again, thanks for tuning in. No merch. That's it. Bye.
That's it.
Ciao. That's all. Ciao.